So George, we leave Victor off in season 1, finally coming out to his family. How does that make things easier now as we go into season 2 with your character and Victor? Does it make it easier now to be together openly as a couple?
Well, when we see them again, they're in this sort of summer bubble. So they haven't started school yet. So they're in this kind of honeymoon period with each other, and they're just really like in that. I mean, like I think a lot of people can relate to that kind of like head over heels first love feeling, and that's kind of the headspace they're in. And then when they do go back to school, Victor is faced with the sort of more difficult reality of now having to come out to everybody. So it kind of puts some strain on their relationship, and Benji has to kind of step into the more supportive role, and he learns a lot along the way. So it does. I think it's probably the first step in making things easier, but there's still some things for them to get through. But yeah.
Right. So step 1 was kind of coming out to his family, but now he has to tackle this new obstacle of coming out really to the whole school and being open about that. How much does that strain?
So whilst the family dynamics are still kind of going through everything as well, shifting around. Yeah.
How does that issue that he's trying to overcome, when the new school year kicks off, how much does that strain your character, since you have always been so comfortable about who you are and everyone always knew that your character was gay? How much does that take a toll on you?
I think Benji, he's definitely at a different place to Victor.
Yeah.
And I think he's now like, but he wants to be with him. So he's, of course he's going to be a supportive partner. But yeah, it definitely does put a strain on their. It definitely puts a strain on their relationship, and because of that, it allows us to sort of peel back the layers of Benji and see some of his own struggles, which come into play this season, and we get to see how he navigates his own struggles and how he deals with them through the lens of this relationship, really.
And I want to touch on that struggle. Because I know that this new season will go into his experience with alcohol and alcoholism. How much of that plays a big part of your own character's narrative in the new season? And can you go a bit more into that?
Yeah, definitely. It plays a big part in it. I'm glad that the writers went in that direction as well, because I think it just, it makes him more relatable to people, because he does, when we first meet him, he kind of is presented as this ultra confident guy, but like everybody, there is a lot more going on under the surface, and there is some complexities. So yeah, with his alcoholism in particular, that gets raised and looked at, and becomes kind of, it gets in the way a little bit with his relationship. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of things get in the way of the relationship with, your experience with alcoholism, and sort of peeling back the layers there and being open about that. Victor needing to come out to the larger school. But a new challenge that this poses is, I believe this new season confronts the issue of virginity and losing your virginity.
Yeah.
Can you go into that and how much of an issue that caused in your relationship?
Yeah. I feel like for them, it's not so much an issue. It's more one of those natural things that's going to come up at some point, like it does in everybody's life. I'm glad we got to tackle it, because now being on Hulu, we can approach stories for more adult take on things.
Yeah,
which I think means we can be more realistic as well. But I'm glad that they're showing it, because it's not an easy thing for a lot of people to go through. Like, a lot of people are pretty nervous about like losing their virginity and stuff. So to go on this journey with Victor and Benji is a good way to be able to look at it.
We also see a couple love triangles begin to blossom in season 2 with Isabella and a couple other people, but also your character Victor and a new character named Rahim. Can you tell me a bit more about Rahim and how he comes into the picture to sort of threaten your relationship with Victor?
he kind of reaches, I don't know how much, am I allowed to say these things? I think so. I can give spoilers away or no? I don't. I'm not sure how much I can say, to be honest, but
okay.
but I think
we'll hold this until June 11th, so you're
okay.
good.
Oh, so it comes out after the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Right,
we'll
yeah,
hold on to this.
I'll speak to it a little bit, which is in that like Rahim's dynamic with Victor is kind of like, I mean, Benji says it. He's kind of like, oh, you're kind of like this guy Simon, you know, to him at one point. So they have a very different dynamic than Victor and Benji. And I think it takes them both by surprise too. It kind of happens naturally. But yeah, I can't say Benji's too happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really seems like so much is being thrown at you guys and really testing your relationship in this new season. So it'll be really interesting to see how things come out on the other side, you know, at the end of this season. But with all these issues being thrown at you, it's really serious. And we thought season 1 was a bit mature. This season 2 seems like it's on a whole other level with the topics that are being raised. And I assume this was probably a lot of new territory for you as an actor. How much of a challenge did it pose for you to sort of approach these new, very, you know, serious topics? And was there any sense of, did you feel at all uncomfortable approaching these topics because it was so new for you guys?
No, I never felt uncomfortable with it, honestly. Like Michael and I, you know, we worked very closely together in season 1, and this really just felt like a continuation of that and a natural progression of it, really. And I was glad to be able to dive in deeper with these characters. Like, it's a really rewarding thing as an actor to get material like this. I think there's a lot of authenticity to the stories, particularly as well because we have a lot of LGBTQ writers that are kind of bringing their own experience and intertwining it with the characters' stories. So there's authenticity there, and I suppose there does come a responsibility comes along with that, where you want to honor that and do it justice, right? So yeah, I think that was my only sort of thing coming into it. I wanted to, you know, honor it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Besides the obvious fact with, you know, COVID, and I know you guys filmed during COVID, which is a very interesting and unique experience. What were the other differences between filming this season and the last season? I would assume you were obviously closer with the cast and crew, but can you go a bit deeper into the differences between shooting last time around and this time around?
I think because the show was a success the first time around, in a way it kind of frees you up a little bit, because it's like, okay, something's working here, you know, and it kind of is quite encouraging. So I think it kind of added to the vibe on set in that way. Plus the material being a bit more mature, that was a new dimension to it all too. And then on top of that, we have the whole masks, face shields, mouth washing between all the kissing scenes and stuff. So it was pretty different. Yeah.
And can you tell me what it was like? I know you've worked with them in season 1 and they're the masterminds behind this whole series, but working with Isaac and Elizabeth, what that's like? It
was amazing. Yeah. Because they really care about the show and the characters and their journeys, and you can just totally sense that in the scripts. So yeah, it's great. And I feel really blessed to be working with such like talented showrunners, really, that have such an amazing track record as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to June 11th, George. Thanks so much for chatting with me. Appreciate it.
Nice to talk with you. Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.